The night is quiet now. The world around you rests beneath a velvet sky, stitched with countless stars, each one shining like a soft lantern in the distance. The air is still, carrying the cool scent of pine, earth, and faint smoke from an old campfire long extinguished. Tonight, you are invited to listen, not just with your ears, but with your spirit, because tonight the stones will speak. For as long as people have walked across this land, they have wondered about the great unmoving guardians of the earth, the stones. Some are small, scattered like forgotten thoughts along the path. Others are mighty, rising like monuments, towering over rivers and plains. And many have been here since time beyond memory, older than any tribe, older than any story. The elders say that stones carry voices. They have seen the births of mountains and the fall of rivers. They remember footsteps, songs, and prayers. If you are still enough, if you let go of all the weight you carry, you might just hear them speak. And so we begin our journey. Imagine yourself walking along a wide, endless plain beneath a sky streaked with silver clouds. In the distance, the land rises gently toward the foothills of a mountain. At your feet, the earth is scattered with stones, smooth, round, and glistening faintly in the moonlight. You pause and pick one up. It feels warm, as though it has held the memory of the sun. When you hold it close, you hear something, not in your ears, but deep in your chest, a whisper. The stone says, "I have waited for you." It is the first of the talking stones. The stone tells a story. A story older than the towns, older than the railroads, older than the people who crossed these lands in search of new beginnings. It speaks of a time when the land itself was alive with voices. The rivers sang like mothers rocking their children to sleep. The trees swayed in rhythm, humming gentle lullabies. The sky was not just sky, but a great blanket of dreams, stretching from horizon to horizon. And beneath it all, the stones listened. They listened when the first people placed their feet upon the soil. They listened when children laughed and when fires crackled in the night. They remembered when prayers were spoken in languages carried by wind and water. They carried these voices within, like secrets kept safe across thousands of years. And now one of them speaks to you. The stone tells of a village long ago, nestled beside a wide river that glittered in the moonlight. In this village lived a storyteller, an old woman whose hair flowed white as snow and whose eyes gleamed like embers. At night, when the children could not sleep, they would gather around her, waiting for her words. But this woman did not tell her own tales. She told the stories that the stones had given her. She would pick them up one by one from the riverbank or from the shadow of the hills. She would press them to her ear, close her eyes, and listen. Then her voice would rise, soft and steady, weaving the stone's memory into story. Some nights, the stones told of creation, of how the land was formed from water, how the eagle spread its wings to mark the sky, how the buffalo carried strength across the plains. Other nights, the stones told of people, hunters who followed the stars, mothers who sang lullabies that echoed through generations, children who grew into leaders. And sometimes the stones whispered of dreams, dreams that belonged not to humans, but to the earth itself. The old woman's voice was a bridge between the past and the present, between the earth and the sky, between what is seen and what is felt. The villagers believed that when they listened, they were not just hearing a story. They were touching something eternal, something that belonged to all of them. And tonight, the stone in your hand carries one of those very stories. It hums softly now, almost like a heartbeat, and you realize it has chosen you as its listener. You breathe deeply. The night air is cool, wrapping you in its calm. You sit upon the soft earth, close your eyes, and allow the stone's voice to drift through you. The story it tells is not hurried. It is gentle, patient, and steady, like the turning of the earth itself. And as you listen, your own heartbeat slows, matching its rhythm. The talking stone begins its first legend. The stone in your hand grows warmer. Its hum deepens, steady like a drum echoing in the distance. Slowly, the voice begins to form into words. They are soft, older than language, but you understand them all the same. Before there was night, the stone whispers, the world was always awake. The story unfolds in your mind like a vision. Long ago, before the sky wore its cloak of stars, the world never rested. The sun rode endlessly across the heavens, casting its golden light on the earth below. Rivers flowed without pause, winds rushed without stillness. Animals moved, restless and weary, because no darkness ever came to give them peace. The people, too, lived without sleep. They worked and worked, yet their eyes longed for rest that never arrived. Mothers held their children, whispering lullabies, but the little ones could not close their eyes. The endless day weighed heavily on every heart. The people prayed. They lifted their voices to the sky, to the rivers, to the animals, asking for mercy. They begged for a balance, a time to work and a time to dream. And the Great Spirit heard them. From the heart of the sky, the Spirit called to the animals, to the people, and to the stones themselves. The world must know both light and shadow, the Spirit said. For without rest, the heart cannot dream. And so the Spirit created night. It began with a great bird, black as obsidian. Its wings stretched wide enough to cover the horizon. As it flew, shadows followed in its path. Behind those wings, the earth dimmed, rivers softened, and the people finally closed their eyes. But the night was not silent. In the quiet dark, dreams began to stir. Some were gentle, filled with laughter and warmth. Others were frightening, tangled with fear. The people welcomed rest, but they trembled at the dreams they could not control. So once again they prayed. This time it was a spider who answered. A small, patient weaver who spun her web between branches under the first night sky. She spoke softly to the people. Do not fear the dreams. They are gifts as much as the daylight is. But if you wish, I will give you a way to catch them. The spider spun carefully, her legs moving like a dancer's fingers. Strand by strand, she wove a circle, strong yet delicate, with a small opening at its center. She explained, hang this above where you sleep. The web will catch the dreams that wander in the night. The good ones will pass through, sliding down the feathers to comfort you. The bad ones will be trapped, caught in the strands, and they will fade away with the morning sun. And so the first Dreamcatcher was born. The people were grateful. They hung Dreamcatchers above their beds, in the trees, even above the cradles of their children. And when the night spread its wings again, they no longer feared. They rested beneath its gentle blanket, trusting that their dreams would carry them safely through till dawn. The stone grows quiet now, as though letting the vision fade like smoke. But its warmth still lingers in your hand, and you can feel the echo of the story in your chest. Night, the stone reminds you, is not just darkness, it is balance. It is the space where dreams are born. And every dream, whether gentle or heavy, carries a meaning, just as every stone carries a memory. You take a slow breath. The world around you feels softer, as though the story itself has folded the night more closely around you. The stone hums again. A second legend is ready, waiting just beneath the surface of its voice. This time it tells you to rise. You walk across the quiet plain, the grass brushing gently against your legs, until you find a circle of larger stones standing tall like guardians. Their surfaces are rough, weathered by time, yet each one glows faintly beneath the starlight. You step into the circle. At once, the air grows still. It feels like a sacred place, a meeting ground for voices older than memory. The stone in your hand vibrates softly. One of the tall stones begins to speak. Its voice is deeper, like thunder echoing in a canyon. We remember when the buffalo first thundered across the plains, it says. We remember when the first fires were lit and when the drums sang. Listen now, for we will tell you the story of the buffalo's gift. You sit upon the earth once more, heart steady, body calm. The stone is about to tell another legend, one that moves with the rhythm of hooves across the endless grasslands. And so the second tale begins. The tall stone hums low, like the rumble of a distant drum. Its voice carries weight, yet it is steady, wrapping you in calm as it begins its tale. We remember the time when the earth was young, it says. when the people had little and the plains were empty. And we remember how the buffalo came to give its gift. Long ago, the people wandered the grasslands with empty hands. The earth was wide, but food was scarce. The rivers gave fish, but only when the nets were full of patience. The trees gave fruit, but only in certain seasons. The people prayed for help. They sang into the sky, asking for strength. They laid offerings upon the stones, hoping the earth would listen. One morning, as the sun rose like fire over the horizon, the earth began to shake. From the distance came a sound, thunder, rolling, pounding, alive. But this was no storm. It was the buffalo. A great herd swept across the plains, hooves beating like drums of war, but their rhythm was not one of destruction. It was a rhythm of life. Dust rose behind them like a golden mist. Their bodies moved as one, vast and powerful, stretching farther than the eye could see. The people watched in awe, their hearts rising with hope. From the herd stepped the great buffalo spirit, massive and glowing in the early light. Its breath steamed like clouds. Its eyes shone with the calm of rivers. It bowed its head to the people and spoke, "I have heard your prayers. I have seen your hunger. From this day forward, my children will walk the earth with you. We will give our bodies so you may live. But you must never forget. Every gift must be honored," the people promised. They knelt upon the earth, tears of gratitude in their eyes, and vowed to honor the buffalo for as long as their shadows touched the plains. And so the buffalo became life itself. Its meat gave nourishment. Its hide gave shelter and warmth. Its bones became tools, strong and sharp. Its sinew-bound boughs and carried strength. Even its hooves and horns were used, nothing wasted, nothing ignored. The buffalo was not simply an animal. It was a teacher. It was generosity made flesh. It was sacrifice walking upon the grass. The people sang songs for it. They danced in circles, their drums echoing the beat of buffalo hooves. They painted its image upon stones and skins so the memory would never fade. And whenever a buffalo fell, the people bowed their heads, thanking its spirit before taking what was needed. The tall stone's voice softens now, almost like the hush of wind through tall grass. The buffalo gave life to the people, it says, but in return, the people gave respect. For balance must always be kept. You close your eyes, and for a moment, you can feel it, the earth trembling with the herd's approach, the thunder of hooves, the vast presence of life rushing across the endless plains. It is a sound that lives not only in memory, but in the heart. The stone falls silent. Yet the vision it left behind lingers, warm and steady, like the echo of a drumbeat fading into night. You rise once more, moving deeper into the circle of stones. The air here feels denser, as if layered with centuries of prayers and stories. The stars above seem brighter, leaning closer, as if they too are listening. Another stone glows faintly, its voice lighter, almost like laughter carried on a breeze. "You have heard of night," it whispers. "You heard of the buffalo. Now hear of the wind, and how it learned to carry voices. You sit again, breathing slowly, your body sinking deeper into calm. The talking stones are not finished. Another legend waits, ready to unfold like the petals of a night-blooming flower." And so begins the next tale. The circle of stones is hushed. The air is cool, wrapping you in stillness. Yet within that quiet, another stone stirs. Its surface gleams faintly in the moonlight, as though brushed by invisible fingers. Its voice rises, soft and flowing, like breath moving across an open field. "I remember," the stone says, "the time when the wind had no voice. It wandered the earth in silence, restless and alone. And I remember how it learned to speak. Long ago, before the world knew stories, the wind drifted without song. It moved through canyons, rivers, and forests, but it carried no sound. It could stir the grass, bend the trees, rattle the leaves, yet it was voiceless. Nothing but empty movement. The people felt the wind upon their faces, yet they could not hear its heart. They longed to know what it carried, but it remained silent, unseen except for what it touched. The wind grew lonely. It wandered over mountains, through deserts, across plains, yearning for expression. It wished to share what it saw, the sunsets blooming red, the rivers sparkling like mirrors, the laughter of children, the prayers of elders. But no matter how far it traveled, it could not make its truth known. One night the wind came to the great oak, a tree whose branches spread wider than a village. Its roots ran deep into the earth, and its leaves reached high into the stars. The oak was ancient, older than rivers, older than the people themselves. The wind circled the tree and whispered, "Great oak, you who touch the earth and sky, teach me how to speak." The oak listened. Then its branches shook gently, not from storm, but from wisdom. Its leaves rustled, making the first voice the wind had ever known. The oak said, "You already have a voice. You only need to find it in what you touch." The wind thought deeply. It moved through the oak's leaves again, and this time it heard the sound, a sigh, gentle and low, like a lullaby. It shivered with wonder. Excited, the wind rushed to the river. It passed over the water, and the ripples laughed, making a voice like silver bells. Then the wind swept across the tall grass, and it heard a soft hush, like a mother soothing her child. Everywhere the wind traveled, it discovered a new sound. Across the mountains, it howled like a wolf's cry. Through the canyon walls, it echoed like a drum beat. Over the plains, it carried whispers, secrets, and songs. The wind realized it had always had a voice, not its own, but 1,000 voices borrowed from the earth. The people began to listen. When the wind rushed through their villages, they paused. They tilted their heads, hearing its tones, its sighs, its cries. They realized the wind was speaking, sometimes with joy, sometimes with warning, sometimes with comfort. The elders taught the children. When the wind touches the stones, it brings the voices of our ancestors. When it touches the trees, it carries the wisdom of the forest. When it moves across the plains, it brings us the songs of the buffalo. Always listen. The wind is never empty. The stone in the circle sighs now, as though exhaling centuries of memory. Its voice is lighter, almost playful. Even now, the wind carries stories. It passes over us, whispering your name. It listens, it remembers, and it speaks. You sit still, closing your eyes. The air brushes gently across your face, and for a moment, you too hear it, a soft murmur, like voices woven into the night. Perhaps it is the echo of the buffalo's thunder. Perhaps it is the spider weaving her web in the dark. Perhaps it is simply your own heartbeat, slowed and steady, mingling with the wind's eternal song. The circle grows quiet again. You remain seated, your body heavy with calm, as though the earth itself is holding you. The talking stones hum faintly all around. One more stone stirs. Its glow is faint, but its presence is strong. Its voice is deeper, like the creak of a great door opening. You have heard of night, it says, and the buffalo and the wind. Now listen, and we will tell you of the stars, how they first learned to shine. The promise of the next legend settles over you like a blanket. The sky above is filled with their quiet light, each one waiting to reveal its own story. And so the fourth tale ends. Well, the fifth is about to begin. The deep stone hums, steady as a heartbeat. Its voice rises like an old drum, slow and deliberate, carrying you deeper into the stillness of night. The sky was not always filled with stars, the stone begins. Once, when the first night spread its wings, the heavens were dark, empty, quiet, without light, and the people feared the silence of that vast shadow. At the beginning of night, the people welcomed rest. Their eyes finally closed, their bodies softened, and dreams came gently at last. But when they looked upward, they saw only a dark, endless sky. It frightened them, for it felt like a hollow place without end. Children asked their mothers, "Where does the night go? Does it swallow the world?" Elders asked one another, "If the sky holds no light, how will we find our way? What will guide the hunters, the travelers, the dreamers?" And so they prayed once more. They called out to the Great Spirit, asking for comfort, asking for guidance. The Spirit listened. And once again, balance was needed. The Spirit spoke, "Night must not be empty. Night must carry light, just as the day does. But the light of night must be different, softer, smaller, carried by memory and love." And so the Spirit turned to the people. When someone leaves this world, when their journey on the earth is done, their spirit will not fade. Instead, I will place them above you in the blanket of the sky. They will shine so you may never be alone in the dark. That very night, the first star appeared. It was the spirit of a grandmother, a woman who had sung lullabies to her children, whose voice had carried warmth and patience. When she passed into the spirit world, the Great Spirit lifted her gently, placing her in the sky. Her light was soft, like a glowing ember, but it calmed the hearts of those who looked upward. Then came more. A hunter who had given his life to protect his people. A child who laughed like running water. A mother whose love stretched farther than rivers. Each spirit rose one by one, becoming points of light across the heavens. Soon, the sky was no longer empty. It shimmered with countless memories, countless voices, countless souls. The people learned to look upward at night not with fear, but with comfort. They said, "The stars are our ancestors watching. When we feel lost, they guide us. When we feel alone, they remind us we are part of something greater." They began to see patterns in the stars. Shapes of animals, of hunters, of rivers and birds. They told stories of how the spirits arranged themselves, dancing together above the earth. Each constellation became a tale, each tale a teaching, each teaching a way to remember. The children grew up knowing, when you looked into the night sky, you were never gazing into emptiness. You were looking into forever. The stone's voice softens now, its deep hum fading like the slow flicker of fire. Every star is a story, it says. Every glimmer is a voice that once walked this land. And even now, as you look upward, you are never truly alone. You tilt your head back, and above you the sky glows with its quiet lanterns. The stars shimmer, patient and eternal, like eyes watching with gentle love. Each one feels close, as though it carries your name in its light. The circle of stones grows silent again. The night is thick and peaceful, the air heavy with calm. Yet another stone awakens, glowing faintly like moonlight on water. Its voice is lighter, smoother, like a flute carried on the breeze. Now you have heard of night, of the buffalo, of the wind, and of the stars. But listen closely, for we will tell you of the moon and how it came to follow the earth. You close your eyes, preparing yourself for the next vision, the next dream. The sky above brightens slightly, as if the moon itself leans closer to hear its own story. And so another legend waits, hidden inside the stones. The circle of stones is hushed again, but one begins to glow softly, silver-white. Its voice is calm, slow, round like the edges of a river stone. You have heard of the stars, it says, but what of the moon, who follows the earth like a faithful companion? We remember when the moon was not yet in the sky. We remember how love drew it upward and how it learned to walk the night. In the first days of night, the people were comforted by the stars. Their ancestors shone above them, shimmering and eternal. Yet the sky was vast, and sometimes the stars felt far away. The people longed for a closer light, one that would walk with them, steady and bright, across every night. Far away, beyond the rivers of the spirit world, lived a being of gentle light, the moon. It was soft and glowing, round and whole, yet it was alone. It looked upon the earth with longing, watching the rivers sparkle, the buffalo thunder. The people laugh and sing. The moon whispered to the Great Spirit, "Let me walk with the earth. Let me be close to it. I will be its companion, its watcher, its guide." The Spirit considered this and replied, "If you wish to walk with the earth, you must follow it always. You will never rest. You will circle without end, and your face will change with time. Do you accept this?" The moon bowed and said, "Yes, I wish to follow forever." And so the moon stepped into the sky. The people looked upward and gasped. There it was, large and glowing, brighter than any star. It bathed the earth in silver light, soft enough to dream by, strong enough to travel by. Hunters found their way home. Children laughed, playing in the moonlight. Mothers rocked their babies, whispering lullabies beneath its glow. The moon became the earth's companion, walking when the people walked, watching when the people slept. But over time, the moon began to change. At first, it was full and round, a perfect lantern in the dark. But after many nights, its glow began to fade. Slowly, piece by piece, it disappeared until only a sliver remained. The people grew afraid. They thought the moon was leaving them, that its devotion had ended. They prayed, calling to the spirit, "Do not take the moon from us. We need its light. We need its watchful presence." The great spirit answered, "Do not fear. The moon is not gone. It follows the earth in cycles, growing and fading as a reminder of change. For nothing in life stays the same. All things grow, all things diminish, all things return. This is the rhythm of the world." And just as promised, the moon returned, full again, bright and whole. The people learned to trust its cycle, the waxing, the waning, the disappearing, the returning. They saw in it the pattern of life itself: birth, growth, decline, and rebirth. The moon became a teacher as much as a companion. It taught the people to measure time by its phases. It taught them that darkness never lasts forever. It reminded them that even when something seems gone, it may only be preparing to return in a new form. The people sang songs to the moon. They danced in circles, imitating its path across the sky. They told stories of lovers meeting under its glow, of wolves singing their voices upward to greet it, of rivers shining silver under its gaze. The moon's love for the earth was eternal, never ending. It followed faithfully, night after night, keeping its promise. The stone sighs now, its voice fading like a slow exhale. The moon is not just light in the sky, it whispers. It is devotion. It is a reminder that no one walks alone. Even in darkness, something follows you with love. You sit quietly, letting the story settle inside you. The night feels fuller now, not only with stars, but with the soft glow of the moon, patient and eternal. Its light brushes across your skin, as though it too is telling you, you are not alone. The circle of stones hums again. Another stone awakens, faint but warm, like embers hidden in ashes. Its voice is deeper, tinged with fire. You have heard of night, of buffalo, of wind, of stars, and of the moon. But now, hear of fire, the flame that gave warmth, protection, and spirit to the people. The next story waits, glowing in the dark, ready to kindle its light. The circle grows warmer now. A glowing stone flickers with reddish light, like an ember deep within. Its voice crackles, soft but alive, carrying the rhythm of flame. "Listen well," it says, "for fire is not only heat and light, it is life, spirit, and memory." We remember the first time fire came to the people, when it was still hidden, guarded, and waiting to be claimed. Long ago, the earth was colder than it is now. The nights were long, the winds biting, and the people huddled together for warmth. They lived by the stars and moonlight, but when the frost came, even the brightest light could not chase away the chill. The animals had fur, the birds had feathers. The people had nothing but skins to wrap themselves in, and still the cold pierced them. They prayed to the Great Spirit for warmth, and the Spirit answered not with words, but with a sign. One night lightning struck a great tree on the edge of the plains. The people saw it from afar, a glow brighter than the stars, a dancing flame that roared like a beast, but shimmered like a spirit. Terrified, they stayed away at first. But one brave hunter stepped closer, watching as the fire licked the bark, devoured the wood, and sent sparks up to the sky like fleeing stars. He stretched his hand toward it and felt its heat, fierce, alive, almost breathing. The flame frightened him, but it also called to him. The hunter took a branch, its tip glowing red, and carried it back to his people. They gathered close, shivering as the fire hissed and crackled. The warmth spread through their bodies, chasing away the cold. They smiled, they laughed, they sang in wonder, but fire was a fickle gift. When left alone, it began to die. The people feared losing it, so they learned to feed it, with wood, with dry grass, with breath. They treated it like a living spirit, one that must be cared for, respected, and never angered. Fire became their companion, much like the moon. It guarded them from the dark, frightened away prowling beasts, and gave them courage in the night. The stone glows hotter, its voice deeper now. But remember, it says, fire is not only gift, it is also trial. For every spirit has two faces. One day, The people grew careless. They laughed too loud, tossed too much wood into the flames, and let it spread beyond its circle. The fire leapt into the grasses, racing across the plain with hungry teeth. It devoured homes, chased animals, and filled the sky with black smoke. The people ran, weeping, as the fire showed them its power, not as a friend, but as a destroyer. When it finally died down, they returned to find the land charred and silent. They fell to their knees, begging the Great Spirit to forgive them. And the Spirit spoke, "Fire is not yours to command. It is a sacred being. It can warm you, or it can destroy you. Treat it with reverence, and it will serve you. Forget respect, and it will consume all you hold dear." From that day, the people honored fire as a living spirit. They built fire circles with stones, keeping the flames contained. They offered it prayers when lighting it. They never left it alone, and when they no longer needed it, they let it die with care, scattering ashes to the wind. Fire became more than warmth. It became a place of gathering. Families sat around it to share food. Elders told stories by its light. Children listened with wide eyes as sparks drifted into the night like tiny spirits rising upward. It became a protector. Warriors carried torches into battle. Hunters used it to cook their catch. Travelers lit it to keep the night at bay. It became sacred. The flame of the council fire burned at the heart of many nations, a sign of unity, wisdom, and guidance. The people came to say, "As long as fire burns, we are alive. When fire dies, we too may fade." The stone flickers gently now, its glow dimming, like coals at the end of a long night. "Remember this," it whispers. "Fire is spirit. Fire is memory. It lives in your hearth, in your breath, in the beating of your heart. Respect it, and it will walk with you forever." You close your eyes, imagining the warmth of a fire on your skin, the sound of crackling wood, the scent of smoke drifting into the starry sky. The circle of stones glows quietly, one after another, like embers waiting to speak. Another stone stirs now, its glow faint but steady, as if carrying the weight of rivers and lakes. "Now listen," it says, "for you have heard of night. Buffalo, wind, stars, moon, and fire. But next you will hear of water, the flowing spirit, the one that shapes the land and carries life through all things." The voice trickles like a stream, inviting you toward the next story. The circle of stones stirs again. One glimmers with a cool blue light, soft as moonlight reflected on rippling water. Its voice is gentle, flowing, never still. It trickles, rushes, and whispers like a river running endlessly. "Listen," it says. "I am water. I shape the land. I quench the thirst of all beings. I carry memory deeper than stone. My stories run like streams to the sea, and I will tell you one of them now. Long ago, the earth was dry. The people struggled, for the rivers were thin, the lakes shallow, the rains distant. They walked across cracked earth, their throats dry, their skin burning. They prayed to the Great Spirit for water, for without it nothing could live. The Spirit sent a dream to the elders, a vision of a mighty river sleeping beneath the ground, waiting to awaken. The people were told to listen to the earth, for it would guide them. So they placed their ears to the soil and heard faint murmurs like a heartbeat hidden below. They dug with their hands, their sticks, their tools, until the ground grew damp. Soon, water bubbled up, cool and pure, flowing into the air with a joyful sigh. The people cheered. They cupped their hands, drank deeply, and felt life return to them. From that spring grew a river, winding, singing, alive. The people named it the River of Memory, for it carried not only water, but also the stories of all it touched. The river became their teacher. It taught them patience, for it flowed without hurry, carving valleys and smoothing stones over many lifetimes. It taught them strength, for though gentle, it could break through mountains and move the earth itself. It taught them unity, for many streams came together to form its body, showing that many voices could become one song. The people built their villages near its banks. They fished from its waters, traveled in canoes across its surface, and sang songs that mirrored its rhythm. Children laughed as they splashed. Elders told stories beside its current, and lovers whispered secrets carried away on its waves. The river became part of them, and they became part of it. But rivers, like fire, hold two faces. One summer, the rains came heavy. The river swelled, rising higher and higher, faster and faster. Its gentle song turned into a roar. The people tried to move their homes, but the waters spilled over the banks, flooding the land, sweeping away huts, tools, and even sacred objects. The people cried out, "River, why do you betray us? We trusted you, we sang to you, and now you destroy what we love." And the river answered in its deep, rolling voice, "I do not betray. I do what I must. I give life, but I also remind you, I am greater than you. I am not owned. I am not bound. Treat me with care, and I will carry you. Forget respect, and I will remind you of my power." The people listened. When the waters finally receded, they rebuilt, but with new wisdom. They no longer placed their homes too close to the banks. They honored the river with offerings of cornmeal and songs. They learned to live in balance with it, not against it. The stone hummed softly, its voice like rippling water over smooth rocks. Remember, it says, water is life, yet also lesson. It can quench thirst, and it can drown. It can soothe, and it can rage. But above all, it carries memory. And indeed, the people believed the river remembered everything. Every story whispered on its banks was carried away, winding through forests, plains, and mountains, until at last it reached the sea. There, the stories joined countless others, becoming part of the great song of the world. The elders taught, "When you speak beside water, know that your words will travel. When you drink from water, know that you are drinking the memory of all who came before." The stone's glow softens, and you feel as though you can hear rivers inside yourself, your blood flowing, your breath moving, your spirit carrying memories like a stream. The stone whispers, water flows through you too. It is your strength, your memory, your spirit. Respect it, and it will never leave you. Silence falls again. Then another stone stirs, glowing faintly with the color of dawn. Its voice rises like birdsong, light and hopeful. Now, it says, "You have heard of night, buffalo, wind, stars, moon, fire, and water. But there is one more morning, the bringer of light, the promise of each new day." The final story waits, glowing at the edge of the circle, ready to rise. The circle of stones glows softly now, their light almost fading, yet one still shines with the gentle warmth of sunrise. Its glow is golden, soft pink at the edges, like the sky just before daybreak. Its voice is gentle, hopeful, and calm. "You have listened well," it says. "You have heard of night, of buffalo, of wind, of stars, of moon, of fire, and of water. Now hear of morning, the promise of each new day." The circle completed. In the beginning, when the people first walked the earth, they feared the night. It was long, full of shadows and unknown voices. They huddled close, waiting for light to return. But one morning, the sun rose for the first time. The land was bathed in warmth, the sky painted with colors never before seen. The people opened their eyes wide, marveling at this gift. The sun spoke to them, "Do not fear the darkness, for I will always return. I will rise each day, bringing light to your path. I will warm the land, grow the plants, and guide your steps. Even when clouds hide me, even when storms roll across the sky, know that I am there, always returning, always keeping my promise." And so the people learned that dawn was not just the coming of light, but the coming of renewal, of hope, of second chances. Morning became sacred. When the first rays touched the horizon, elders raised their hands in greeting, whispering prayers of gratitude. Warriors prepared themselves with courage. Hunters set out with steady hearts. Mothers sang to their children in the glow of the rising light. The dawn reminded them that each day was a gift, a chance to begin again, no matter the mistakes or struggles of the day before. The stone's voice warms like sunlight spreading across your face. Morning is the circle completed. Night gives rest, dawn gives promise. Fire gives warmth, water gives life. The moon keeps watch, the stars guide, the wind carries, the buffalo nourishes. All are bound together, all part of one great story. And you too are part of it. The people came to see each dawn as a blessing. They painted the sunrise on their hides, carved it into wood, and sang songs to welcome it. They taught their children, when you rise with the sun, rise with gratitude. When you walk into the day, walk with purpose. When you see the light, remember, it will come again tomorrow, no matter how dark the night has been. The stone grows dimmer now, as if the circle of stones has told all they wish to share. Their voices blend together, a soft hum like wind in the grass, water over stones, fires crackle, and the low drumbeat of buffalo hooves. Our stories are not just for tonight, they whisper. They are for always. Carry them with you as the moon carries its cycle, as the river carries its song. Remember them when you see fire, when you feel wind, when you drink water, when you watch dawn. For the world speaks, and you are always listening. If you are quiet enough, the glow of the stones fades until only starlight and the first blush of morning remain. You breathe deeply, the air cool and fresh, the horizon glowing with promise. The circle is quiet now, but its memory lingers. The talking stones have finished their tales. The night has given way to day, and you rise, carrying their stories within you. Stories of night, buffalo, wind, stars, moon, fire, water, and dawn. You step into the morning light, knowing that you are part of the great circle, walking the same path as those who came before, guided by the same sky, blessed by the same dawn. The story ends not with silence, but with the beginning of another day. The talking stones rest, waiting for the next dreamer to sit among them, waiting to whisper their timeless legends once more.